Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to the episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 119 today for the Italian Grand Prix in Season 6. If you guys did miss the previous one at the Belgium Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. A crucial race for the championship after our unlucky spout at the Hungarian Grand Prix previously before that. And even then, the Belgium Grand Prix wasn't smooth sailing. We had that issue with the setup of the car, but we held it together, and of course, spoiler alert, went on to win that GP, a crucial win for us as we come to now what is probably going to be the hardest race of the season as a team for Renault. You know, this car is not great in a straight line, and this is the only circuit really where you can't hide away from that straight line speed deficiency. You know, even at Belgium, you've got enough high-speed corners and Sector 2 to make up for it. Here at Italy, even Sector 2 with the few corners we have, it's not enough. The straights are so long, take up so much of the lap that there is nowhere to hide here. So this really will be a damage limitation race for us, and even Lucas Weber potentially, and in that kind of way, maybe we can't really look to do anything against Max Verstappen. It'll be a case of just trying to outscore Weber, even if it just means by a few points in lower positions, maybe, because I honestly think that's how uncompetitive we might be at this GP with looking at kind of down the order, how many of the other AI teams have been so good in straight line. You've got Racing Point that look always mega in a straight line. Even Red Bull weren't too bad last episode of the Belgium Grand Prix, and then you've got the likes of McLaren and Mercedes as well. So we're going to just have to kind of just take it as it goes and just do the best job we can to limit that damage, and that starts off with qualifying, and that's going to be a difficult one over one lap, but let's see how we go on Saturday.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So starting off our qualifying session then with our first flying lap as we go down towards turn 1. The brake zone's obviously the kind of best place to gain some time for us really and make up the difference potentially, we're hoping, into turn 1. Very hot under it there. First gear trying to get the nose in, but that also kicks out the tail a little bit. But all things considered, I think I navigated that pretty decently as we now wind through to the end of the lap. Across the line there, P3 as it stands ahead of Sebastian Vettel. But Norris, you can see, sets a faster time. So everyone's yet to set all their proper flies. You can see a little bit wide there through the second sector, and so we actually lose the time we gained in the first, going wide actually for a second time, and so only 1/10 just over gained as we go through Parabolica, then finding some more time though, so about 2-3 tenths off nearly as we go towards the line, then just about 4 as well actually, so it's been a very decent last sector for us there. We must have lost a lot of time in Parabolica previously, and so we're up into P3 as it stands. Lando Norris on provisional pole. Lucas Weber though all the way down in P18. I don't know what on earth is going on with him. Even Verstappen is down the order right now, so very odd behaviour from the AI, I would say right now. You know, the checkered flag has fallen. We're on the last flying lap now, and Norris is still on provisional pole. I believe Weber's still down the order, so I don't know what's gone on. Traffic, track evolution, major track illusion, I'm not too sure, as Butler now goes and sets the pole position, then Max Verstappen, so here comes the cavalry, as it were, as Verstappen is now on provisional pole from Devin Butler, so two familiar faces at the sharp end. I don't know where on earth Weber is, and we are down in P6 now. Can we do anything? No, it doesn't seem like it, because we've already gone red negative as we enter the last corner, and through that, it was a horrendous last corner for us. I lost even more time, so I just bail out that. No point there. We're not setting a better lap time, so it'll be P6 at the maximum for us then in qualifying for the grid tomorrow, and it will be that. We lose no more positions, thankfully, but Lucas Weber down in P17. What on earth has gone on there? I don't know. I think that's just it's a bit of an odd one, because you can see there the likes of Lance Stroll in the other Ferrari and also George Russell in the other Red Bull. It looks like one of the teammates for each team has done horrendously. You've got Verstappen and Stroll and Butler and Russell separated by over a second each there, so that's very peculiar. I've never seen that, and it's the same case with me and Lucas Weber, so I think something funny has gone on there with the AI in qualifying. I don't know if they did actually get held up in traffic, or there was that much track evolution. I kind of doubt it in a way, so a bit annoying to see there, but of course that helps us out, so I can't really complain too much, because the amount of times that this game screwed me over so far this season, and how much bad bad luck I've had so far, I'll happily take that. So we've got a good chance now to get a load of points on Weber, hopefully, if we can just hold this P6 minimum in the race, but hoping to obviously move forward if we can use that slipstream. But it's going to be so difficult because the top guys are probably going to pull away quite easily on the first few laps. So like I just said, it's still going to be very much a damage limitation. Despite us being in P6, might seem okay, it's going to be an even tougher race ahead for us. So let's go to the grid and see how we do.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Raikkonen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Devon Butler lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Norris, Nico Hülkenberg, the engineer, Magnussen, Kvyat, Raikkonen, and Sebastian Vettel, Leclerc, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Russell. Bottas, Weber, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Sergio Perez. Grosjean and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So unfortunately no penalties then ahead of us to help us out even further, I guess, in the fight against our teammates and in general in this race. So P6 it is. Strategy, it will be the very easy one stop, especially here, obviously the lowest tyre wear circuit, or one of them at least. And so we're going to lower down the fuel, but unlike the last few episodes, we won't go into the negative straight away because I think we will need some extra fuel at some point in this race because you're on rich mix for so long on the lap, on throttle for on the lap, that even though the engine is so efficient, we'll still be probably burning a decent amount of fuel and probably won't be wanting to go into lean mixture too much because, especially in this Renault engine, just don't want to lose the raw speed in a straight line, even if the engine does overheat a tad. So here we go then to 5 red lights to the Italian Grand Prix. Full damage limitation today in this race here. 5 red lights are out and we're underway, and it's actually a really great jump off the line for us there compared to Nico Hülkenberg. Then as we climb up the gears, it's that usual bogging down against the AI towards turn 1. We've been overtaken on the left-hand side by Magnussen and Kvyat. Going to dive down the inside of both of them and try and re-overtake the positions there. Kvyat getting the elbows out, and he's got the place as well as Magnussen. So we're down to P8, where actually had a horrendous start already, all things considered, compared to what we usually have. We've not gained any positions. We've lost 2, and maybe it's even 3 as Raikkonen, my old teammate from seasons 1 and 2, is on the left-hand side of us there. He actually makes a great dive there. You saw, try to jockey for position, but we maintain the place just about with a bit of drifting through that chicane, and we're up into P8 once more, and we look on to try and chase after and regain that position we lost to Magnussen and Dan Kvyat in P6, but yellow flags behind us there in Parabolica. There's been an issue. Cars are slow into the entry point. You can see on the minimap there, and full course yellow. This safety car is going to be out here. We've only had 1 full lap of racing here at Monza, and the full course caution is out. And so we'll all bunch up. It's a good time to save fuel. And so in hindsight, I should have gone to negative fuel because I'm going to save too much fuel now under this safety car. So trying to burn some, actually, you can see that by doing some extra revs in rich mixers. I just don't want to carry the extra weight of fuel, to be honest, here at the moment. But the engine now overheating a tad as well. So it's a fine balancing act of those two. But now at the moment, our attention goes to the restart here at Monza. Never really had a perfect restart under a safety car here at the Italian Grand Prix. I think twice now we've had one in career mode, and it's just not worked out for us. So trying to get this nailed on as possible. You can see we go green. It's still a little bit cautious on the restart because the rear end will like to step out there, but compared to previous safety car restarts, I think I'll take that in terms of not lost too much time. And now we're in the slipstream of Magnussen, who's in the slipstream of Kvyat, and we're going to make a horrendous dive bomb around the outside. Double lock up there. The car goes spewing into turn one. We control it somehow, though, and keep it in the white lines, and we're actually up into P6. So that's been a worldly overtake, a double pass there. So crucial to get past these two positions that we lost on the opening lap, but Kvyat comes back at us there, and meanwhile, Devin Butler is side by side with Verstappen for the race lead, but we're on the outside of the Alfa Romeo. We're going to maintain that P6 as the brake discs are glowing bright red as we slow the thing down, and meanwhile, at the moment, Butler is into the lead of the Grand Prix in the Red Bull. Surprising, it's been still one of the slowest cars in a straight line the Red Bull has. So many times we've breezed past it in the Renault car, and yet the Red Bull is defying all odds and leading the Italian Grand Prix here. So maybe some upgrades for the Red Bull team have worked out, or a low drag setup, I'm not too sure. But Verstappen in that Ferrari in second place, you want to bet he's going to be right on the back of Devin Butler here, not just because he's Verstappen, but also because he's in a Ferrari car. It's mega quick, and of course it's the home GP for the Italian team, so that might give their extra 10th or two, you never know, through the corners and on the straights as the crowd goes wild, trying to cheer on their Ferrari man to get first place back from the Red Bull guys. We go through Parabolica now towards a brand new lap. No DRS, of course, because safety car conditions have kind of nerfed that. Of course, there would have been DRS on this lap, but Verstappen does not need it. He's sent it down the inside. The Ferrari's so quick in a straight line this season. He's now in a really good position to take the lead on the outside there. Gets the traction. They're side by side. It's a drag race, but it's one that the Red Bull car will never win, I don't think. And so Butler tucks in for P2. You've got Norris in the McLaren in third place, very close behind as well. Meanwhile, we move back to our POV then, lap number 7. So the laps have gone by. Verstappen's still in the lead, and I'm still struggling a little bit to get away from Kvyat and close that top pack, as now the Russian comes through at a rate of knots on the right hand side. DRS open, remember, for him in the Alfa Romeo car on the outer. We're going to try and keep it in on the inside, but he's locked up badly, and we get the position for free, and Kvyat made contact with the Williams and Magnussen then. He's slow on the exit, and so this is going to be a massive concertina effect as his teammate Raikkonen comes on the left, as well as Charles Leclerc in the Haas on the right hand side. It's 3 wide. Look at that, 5, 6, 7 cars all within one shot there, and they're pretty much covered by 1/10. This is brilliant stuff. Leclerc's come out on top there, overtaking both Alfa Romeo cars to get up into what is P8, I think, but Kvyat coming back. It's now 3 wide between the other Ferrari of Lance Stroll, my teammate Lucas Weber. The first time we've seen him, he's boxed in, and so that's exactly what we want to see. He's in the traffic. He's got way too many cars to pass, and so as it stands right now, he's outside the points paying positions just about, so that's where we're hoping he maybe ends up, because if we can get P6, it may not be a lot of points in a grand scheme of things, but P6 versus 0 points for him would be mega for us to close up in the championship, and we could look to even improve that P6 as we're on lap 11 now, and you can see clearly ahead of us one slow Nico Hülkenberg in the Racing Point car. He's got a mechanical issue though, so that's actually more unfortunate for us, just to show the only reason we're catching the car, or one car ahead, is due to an issue there. You can see the rest of them are not even on the mini-map because they're so quick compared to us, so really once we're done with this overtake, we will be in no man's land, but Hülkenberg really gives us a good old squeeze, and we have a tap on the grass with the right front tyre, but we get the job done up into P5. You can see going a little bit wayward there because I'm running such low wings to what I want to really with the Renault to try and get some straight line speed, that it's really actually quite on the fine edge of being what I would call comfortable in the corners on this heavy fuel still on lap 11. But you can see Ricciardo ways ahead. Butler sets fast up the Grand Prix as he continues to chase after and battle with Verstappen for the lead of this Grand Prix. But you can clearly see even now, this illustrates how badly we are running in terms of the pace, because even with the mechanical failure, Hülkenberg is closing up to us with DRS there. You know, the mechanical failure usually for an AI on this game is so crippling, and he's still closing up on us and keeping up with us in P5 to 6 here. So that's just the lack of pace I have right now. It's not really even a case of just race pace, it's just pure straight line speed. It's not nothing I can really do. I can go as quick as I can in the corners, but every lap we're just losing that time on every straight really. And so we're going to move on quickly to lap number 13. Then the first pit stop's being made made for us. A few people already in, so we were in second place on the road. We now come in for our pit stop then onto a set of medium yellow wall tyres. In terms of who we might be racing now in this second phase of the GP, I imagine eventually Hulkenberg will speed back up again, because those mechanical issues don't usually last all race long for the AI. And then you've got the likes of maybe Leclerc and still the Alphas lurking around. We'll have to see. We had a good gap to them, so I think we could be in no man's land. It could be a pretty boring rest of the GP for us. We're going to have to just see how it plays out. But you can see there is Leclerc in P7. So Leclerc has done some great overtaking work in this GP to get himself up into that position on lap number 14. Then Hamilton ahead of us in P5 on the hard tyres, so there might be half a chance we start to catch him. But as we move on 3 laps later, lap 17, 10 laps to go in this GP, like I said, Leclerc is coming knocking here, and the pace has really not been great for us, and Leclerc is looking mighty in a straight line there. The Haas has been actually very quick, remember, through this season. We've seen Romain Grosjean on the other Haas pop up a few times, high places in qualifying there, but they just haven't really been pulling together consistency. But now he's very much there. Lap 17 wasn't enough, he wasn't close enough there to make a move, but now lap number 18, he's right up behind us in the mirrors, and he'll have DRS and he'll have that toe and slipstream. So here he comes now on the right hand side, and you can just see slowly but surely he's pulling alongside more and more as we get towards the brake zone there. He's going to outbrake us, as I'm very cautious under the braking into turn 1 to make sure we don't lock up the front wheels, but that's okay because we're still side by side with him there on the exit. You can see acceleration wise I actually get a good exit, but then straight away once we go up into the higher gears, Leclerc's engine just pulls through for him. But we're in the toe now. We can re-slipstream Leclerc. We move to the left hand side, he blocks us off a little bit of contact made. It's a late brake zone for us, and we lunge it down the inside and get back up into P6. Bit of contact warning made as we try to switch it from the right to the left, and Leclerc nearly almost said no, wasn't having it, but eventually we did make it through. But it's for no use, because on lap 20 then he gets through into Ascari with the DRS there. He's back up into P6, and this might just yo-yo for a few laps, honestly, and if it does enough, there's a few cars behind us also that could get involved here, which is unfortunate, but I'm not going to lose P6. So like I said, there's no one else ahead of us. We're pretty much in no man's land now. P6 is the maximum I think we can get in this Grand Prix, so I have to fight this, because if I don't, there's no point really in even turning up here. So we're going to go for it. DRS, we're quite some way away right now, but you're going to see slowly reeling him in with the DRS open, overtake mode. Now we move to none, because I know we can reel him in now under the brake zone into turn 1. Bit of a yo-yo effect as we kind of jockey for position, but eventually at the apex of turn 2, we get it turned in. We're side by side. It's a drag race now, and it's a great bit of acceleration there, but then again, he pulls through in the later gears. Bit of contact made. We're still side by side. He's on the inside there. You can't quite see him there in the mirror, but he's there. But we're going to pull across onto the racing line, block off any chance of him attacking us, and maintain the P6 for another lap onto lap 22. Then again, Leclerc comes, and this time I'm trying to push him to the right side. He's not even blinking really. He goes off track past the white line. He's still there, but actually it's a bit of a stalemate now, as he doesn't actually gain too much on us in a straight line. He locks up on the front left, but gets a nice dive, and for the third time now we're in this same position, side by side, me on the left, him on the right. This time though, look at that, amazing. So I don't know if he's turned down his engine a little bit there. That time the acceleration was mega, that we were able to jump him completely on that straight. But now lap 23, and this is where the issues come, because we defend again as we lock up into the Ascari from Leclerc. But now Pierre Gasly has joined the party. That's not the racing point of Hulkenberg, it's Pierre Gasly, and he's very much in for the fight, because he now goes side by side with Leclerc. We've now moved across the racing line to box him off there. Meanwhile, you've got the McLaren and Ferrari going side by side as well in the background shot, as Gasly starts to fight that quite hard through Parabolica to get the move done, but he does get it, and he's up into P7 now, and now he's going to come after us as we go defensive to the inside. But you're going to see that racing point surely comes flying past it. Yeah, there you go, just as we enter the brake zone, he's fully alongside us there. We have a massive slide into turn 1, lock up on the front right there, the rear end kicked out as we went into first gear to slow the thing down, and we just about hold on to the position. But now that allows Gasly just to get a great slipstream through the curve, and he'll try and make it on the right. We pull along to that side of the circuit to block him off. Meanwhile, you've still got a fight going on with the Ferrari and the McLaren in the background as well, but they're slowly catching us. Everyone is. We're all bunching up because I'm the blockade now in the road, so it's time to get the sleeves up, baby. basically. I'm just doing as good a job as I can to defend this position because I don't have the speed to be here, basically. These guys are all quicker than me, especially in a straight line, and so just every corner it's a case of trying to play a bit of Formula 1 chess and trying to do the best job I can at trying to maintain this P6. But Gasly on the outside, it's a massive lunge for him, and I'm just so defenseless under braking. But to be fair, this is a good position for us, well within 1 second to get that DRS, so we'll actually go down to none ERS to try and save ERS for that straight and the next entire lap on lap 25 there. Easy does it, lift and coast into the... Oh, it's gone now! No! Gasly's locked up badly, and we've hit the back of him there. Leclerc sails through up into P6. Gasly now on the back of us once again for P7 now this is, but we've got massive damage on the front wing. Orange, we've only got 3 laps to go though, so there's no point coming in for a pit stop here, as my engineer will also recommend to us. But here is a replay. What on earth happened there for Gasly? He just had a really poor entry, double lockup, and I was so close behind him. There was no way I had the reaction time to dodge that as you come through into the brake zone. At this point, the DRS detection point there, I'm lifting and coasting, and at this point, obviously I'm very close to him, but usually what would happen is you don't lock up, and Gasly would be 2 meters ahead, taking the apex at the corner. Rather, instead, he's double lockup, and at this point, I'm just a passenger. I have no way to avoid that. Yes, I was so close behind him, so in part it's my fault, but at the same time, you never really, think they're going to have a double lockup in that corner. You think he makes the corner, and if he did, I would be perfectly fine. If he did make the corner, I would have been a hero in terms of I would have lifted and coasted perfectly and practically would have been pushing him through the corner because I had the momentum from lifting and coasting into it, and then I would have gotten the power early, had all the ERS because I saved it in none, and we would have got the re-overtake done. But instead now, we're side by side with the Ferrari, and Stroll is on the outside. He's still on the outside and goes the long way around the exit. Perez on the left. It's 3 wide now, and we're being swarmed because we have no front wing, or a lack of downforce on the front left side of the front wing at least. As you can see, every right-hander is now such a struggle, and we're down to P10. Gasly got us easily into Ascari, and then the exit, Stroll did us on the outside. Perez done us as well, and so we're going to limp home on lap 27. I'm still trying as hard as I can to keep up because you can see there, they're not getting away from us. Gasly's fighting very hard with the Ferrari. Even Leclerc is still in there, and the Haas as well, but you can see on the bottom right there, that orange front left of the front wing. It's a disaster for us in terms of every corner. Just can't keep up. I'm trying my best though, because these guys are slowing each other up so much fighting that I'm still very much within 1 second, so you never know. Bit of a corner cut on the right-hander as we try and keep up, because like I said, on the last straight, maybe there's half a chance I get a toe and a slipstream on someone and can make a last-minute overtake. I kind of doubt it though, but this is a real shame for us as Max Verstappen crosses the line with the fast lap of the Grand Prix to win the Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari. It's not quite the 1-2 for Ferrari that I got with Russell though last season. Just saying, but fair plays, kudos to him. So I think that might be him looking very good in the championship fight, you know what, compared to myself and Lucas Weber, because look who's behind me. Weber, P11 there. So we'll finish out in P10 as we try our hardest to close up. It's not going to work through the last bend. We'll have to settle for P10 this is. And so 1 measly point. That is all we get on our teammate today.
Well, that's a disappointing result for sure, but we'll try to bounce back at the next one.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So there we have it. Verstappen lifts the trophy for Ferrari. Ferrari, for the first time in a long while, get two Monza wins in a row. Of course, I was the one that got it for them last season with that 1-2 with Russell. But 25 points versus 1 point for me and 0 for Weber. That is massive for Verstappen. That puts him right back into the driving seat of the Drivers' Championship. But what a shame for us. That would have been a decent P6, I think. I think we could have held on to it, but that mistake there, I mean, I'm still adamant. I really don't think Gasly's to blame or I'm to blame. It's a racing incident. It's just a really unfortunate one. And it always has to be Pierre Gasly, of course, on the F1 game. Always is. But look at this now. Verstappen, 7 points ahead in the championship to Weber. And even with that race, even though I beat Weber, I'm still now 22 points off the lead of the championship. Somehow, I've come out worse than I actually entered this Grand Prix. Because I was, I think, 16 points behind Weber after Belgium. I'm now 22 points back from Verstappen. So, even though we won against our teammate going into this race, that was the main kind of outlook of this race, was beating Weber. We've done that. We've still come out worse in the championship because Verstappen went on the radar for a very good win. So, next race, Singapore. A lot of corners, of course, so our car should go well around Singapore. We have got to clap back at Verstappen straight away and go for the win. But I'm sure, unfortunately, Weber will be right there as well with us. So it might be a titanic battle next time out with our teammate for the Singapore GP. But this one, yeah, just a bit of a shame. You know, wild race, but in the end, a result we didn't want, and one we're just going to take on the chin and try and make up for next episode. It's a very similar scenario to the ones we've had before in this career mode season. So, guys, if you did enjoy that episode, then be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do go subscribe for weekly, full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.